It feels like you can't open a browser without seeing something about AI jobs, right? But what are these jobs really? It's so easy to get lost in all the hype and the buzzwords. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to follow an AI project from start to finish and see who actually does the work, role by role. So that leads to the big question, right? Beyond all the headlines, who actually builds AI? Is it, one person, some super genius coder locked in a dark room? Spoiler alert, no. The answer is way more interesting. It's a whole team, a whole crew of specialists, and every single one of them is essential.
Yeah, it's not one person at all. It takes a village, as they say. And to really get a handle on the AI job market, we're going to follow the entire journey, from a tiny spark of an idea all the way to a massive product that millions of people are using. So let's get started and meet the key players on this team.
All right, first things first. Every AI project, I don't care how big or complicated it is, it always starts with two fundamental things: a great idea and data. Lots and lots of data. This is the foundation. Everything else is built right on top of this. So where do those brilliant ideas come from? Well, that brings us to our very first role. Let's call them the inventors. These are your AI research scientists. You can think of them as the true visionaries of the AI world. What's so cool about these folks is that they are living in the future. Seriously, they're the ones doing the super heavy lifting in research labs. A lot of them have PhDs, and they're not really focused on the app you're going to download tomorrow. No, they're inventing the fundamental tech that we'll all be using, say, 5 years down the line. They're literally building the future. Okay, so an idea is a great start, but AI is hungry and it needs fuel. That fuel is data. The problem? Raw data is, well, it's a total mess. It's chaotic. So you need someone to make sense of it all. And that's where our next player comes in, the detectives. You probably know them as data scientists. Look, before you can even dream of building an AI, you need clean, useful data. That's the data scientist's job. They're the ones who can look at a giant, messy spreadsheet of numbers and find the story that's hiding inside. They use tools like SQL and pandas, and their whole mission, really, is to find the important signal and filter out all the useless noise. Because without them, your fancy AI is just learning from garbage. All right, quick recap. We've got a killer idea from our inventor. We've got clean, meaningful data from our detective. So, what's next? Well, now it's time to actually build the thing. This is the build phase. This is where code and vision finally come together. And who does that building? Well, that would be the builders. These are your AI and machine learning engineers. Think of them as the architects who take all those abstract ideas and all that clean data and turn it into a real, working AI model. Now, let's be super clear here. These folks aren't just using AI tools, they are building the engines themselves. If you're someone who loves Python, who gets a kick out of that deep, tough challenge of making a model actually learn and get better, this is your home. They are the hands-on constructors, building the very heart of the AI. Okay, but think about this. A super powerful AI engine is pretty much useless if it doesn't solve a real problem for actual people, right? We need a bridge, someone who can connect the super technical world of the engineers to the business world. And for that, we meet the translators, also known as AI product managers. This role is exploding right now, and it's easy to see why. These translators are fluent in two languages, business and code. They don't have to be the ones writing the algorithm, but they have to understand it deep enough to see, okay, how does this solve a customer's problem? And just as important, how do we make money with this? They're that critical link that turns cool tech into an actual successful product. So our AI is built, it has a purpose, but it's still just a brain in a box, right? To be really useful, it needs to understand the world around it. It needs senses. And this is where the specialists come in. This is literally about giving the AI senses, just like we have. You've got two main players here. First, the NLP specialist. That stands for natural language processing. They're the ones who teach the AI how to read and write. Think of ChatGPT. Then you've got the computer vision specialist. They teach the AI how to see. That's the magic behind things like self-driving cars. Now, here's where things get really interesting and very, very new. As these language models have gotten so incredibly powerful, a totally new role has popped up: the whisperers. You might have heard of them as prompt engineers. And let me tell you, this is way more than just typing questions into a chatbot. It's about getting inside the AI's head,
understanding its logic, its quirks, its psychology, if you will. The whole point is to craft the perfect instructions, the perfect prompts, to get the AI to do really complex, really specific tasks. It's this amazing blend of art and science, of logic and language. Okay, so our AI has been born, it's been built, it's been given senses. We're done, right? Not even close. The journey is far from over. See, building a prototype model is one thing, but keeping that model running flawlessly for millions of people at the same time, that is a whole different ballgame.
And that challenge brings us to our final role. And honestly, it's one of the most critical and maybe one of the most overlooked roles in this whole process, the keepers. In the industry, they're called ML ops engineers. These folks are the guardians of the AI once it's out in the wild. Their entire job is to keep it running smoothly. They make sure it doesn't crash, that it stays reliable when it scales up to millions of users, and they work to prevent it from hallucinating or spitting out nonsense when it's under pressure. They are the ones who make sure the magic actually works in the real world, 24/7. So let's just make this super clear, because it's an important distinction. The builder's job is all about creating that first model from nothing. The keeper's job is totally different. Their challenge is all about taking that live model and keeping it strong and reliable for a huge audience day after day after day. And there you have it. That's the whole team. We've gone from that first tiny spark of an idea all the way to a product that can be used around the globe. So let's wrap this up and think about where you might fit in. Okay, here's your cheat sheet for the whole AI creation team. Let's run through it. If you love pure, deep research, you might be an inventor. If you get a thrill from finding stories in messy data, you're a detective. If you just love the craft of coding and building things, you're a builder. If you're all about strategy and connecting people, you're a translator. Love teaching machines to see or read? You're a specialist. If you're fascinated by language and logic puzzles, you could be a whisperer. And finally, if your passion is building systems that just work no matter what, you're a keeper. So, which one of those makes you lean in a little closer? And that leaves us with one final thought. We've just met the 7 key roles that are building the AI world as we know it today. But here's the thing. This field is moving at lightning speed, faster than anything we've seen before, which leads to a really big question. What's next? What's going to be the 8th essential role, the one that doesn't even exist yet?